Welcome to the podcast summary of University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Today's story is really about how one university became a lot more than a university. UPLB helped shape Philippine agriculture, sits on an enormous and ecologically important landscape, carries deep scars from war and martial law, and still keeps finding ways to matter in the present, from global research to COVID testing to the very practical business of helping farmers earn more. It's a campus with labs, forests, political memory, and the occasional reminder that even digital upgrades can become a full-blown trust issue. UPLB started in 1909 as the UP College of Agriculture, and from early on it became one of Southeast Asia's important centers for agricultural education and research. Over time, it grew into a full multidisciplinary university with 148 degree programs, but agriculture never stopped being the backbone of its identity. And this isn't research in the abstract, locked away in papers nobody reads. A lot of its work has had very concrete effects on daily life and on the national economy. Its scientists helped develop things like CAC-87 sugarcane, improved livestock breeds, mass-produced macapuno, year-round mango flowering, delayed ripening papaya, and agricultural biofuel technologies. That list tells you something important about UPLB. It has spent a long time working on the unglamorous but life-shaping stuff. Food, crops, timing, yields, livelihoods. One of the clearest examples is its nanofertilizer research. The reported results are striking. Fertilizer use cut by up to 50%, with farmer profits increasing by 40% in rice, 20% in corn, and 48% in potatoes. That's the kind of statistic that lands differently when you think about what it means on the ground. Less input cost, better returns, and a stronger case that science can actually show up in a farmer's budget, not just a conference presentation. UPLB is also unusual simply because of its scale. It's the largest university campus in the Philippines by land area, with more than 15,000 hectares spread across the Los Baños campus, the Makiling Forest Reserve, and 3 land grants. The Makiling Forest Reserve alone covers 4,347 hectares. It's both an ASEAN heritage park and a giant outdoor laboratory. And then there's this almost unbelievable detail. It reportedly contains more tree species than the continental United States, even though the Philippines is 32 times smaller. That gives you a sense of why UPLB's land is not just real estate. It's habitat, research, infrastructure, and a national resource all at once. Of course, once land has scientific, environmental, and economic value at the same time, tension follows. Potential investors have expressed interest in UPLB's land grants, but the university has declined proposals because there isn't a solid development plan in place. That may sound bureaucratic, but it's actually a pretty serious question. When a public university holds land this valuable, what exactly should it be for? Conservation, income generation, expansion, public use, research protection. Those priorities don't always fit neatly together. UPLB's history also takes a very dark turn during the Japanese occupation. The campus was converted into an internment camp that held more than 2,000 Allied civilians, and in 1945 the Los Baños raid rescued the internees in one of the war's notable liberation operations. But the rescue was followed by heavy destruction on campus. When reconstruction began, only 16% of the original students had returned, along with 38 professors. The rebuilding effort depended on war-damaged funds, foreign aid, and overseas scholarships to restore academic capacity. So this place carries a layered history. It was a school, then a site of civilian internment and military conflict, and then a post-war rebuilding project shaped by international cooperation. UPLB's autonomy didn't arrive as a tidy administrative upgrade. It emerged out of the 1969 balance of payments crisis, campus unrest, and the wider pressures of martial law. Leaders of the old UP College of Agriculture wanted separation from UP Diliman, citing alleged budget withholding and curricular disagreements, while UP President Salvador Lopez opposed full independence. The compromise came through Presidential Decree No. 58 on November 20, 1972, which created UPLB as an autonomous constituent university. And that same period has a much darker legacy. Students, journalists, and faculty associated with UPLB were arrested, tortured, killed, or disappeared during martial law. Even the student press story reflects that climate. The UPLB Perspective became one of the first student newspapers allowed to publish after the 1972 media crackdown. If you look at UPLB today, one reason it carries outsized influence is the concentration of institutions around it. The campus hosts or is closely linked with major regional and international centers like the International Rice Research Institute, CRCA, the ASEAN Center for Biodiversity, WorldFish, and the World Agroforestry Center. That makes Los Baños a kind of research crossroads for food systems, environment, and agriculture in Southeast Asia. Its partnerships have also evolved over time, from Cornell-led post-war reconstruction to doctoral programs with universities in France, the UK, Australia, and Japan. And the talent pipeline is real. 16 UPLB-associated scientists have received the Philippine National Scientist title, and 4 UPLB climate researchers contributed to the IPCC work recognized by the 2007 Nobel Peace Prize. UPLB has a habit of repurposing its research capacity when the country needs it. During COVID, it shifted to remote learning, mobilized scientific expertise, and turned facilities into a sub-national RT-PCR testing laboratory. That's institutional resilience in a very practical form. At the same time, modernization has not always felt smooth from the inside. The student academic information system triggered sustained protests because technical problems disrupted registration. It's a familiar modern story. Digitization is supposed to make life easier, and then suddenly everyone is refreshing a broken page while their patience leaves the building. Still, the university keeps broadening its mission through programs in resilience, sustainability, environmental management, agricultural biotechnology, materials engineering, and agricultural genomics. UPLB also has a distinct student culture shaped by both selectivity and public purpose. It admits more than 2,500 students annually, and free tuition under Republic Act 10931 comes with the possibility of a return service obligation. That helps explain why student life there has such a strong civic and political dimension. Feb Fair began as opposition to martial law, while Loyalty Day commemorates the 1918 enlistment of 130 students and 27 faculty members in the Philippine National Guard. And debates over autonomy keep recurring in very campus-specific ways. Restrictions on freshmen joining organizations, disputes over recognition of religious and regional groups, and allegations of administrative interference in the student newspaper's editor selection. So even student affairs at UPLB tend to connect back to bigger questions about freedom, public accountability, and what a university community owes its members. UPLB's story is unusually dense in the best and hardest ways. It's about crops and forests, war and repression, scientific prestige and registration glitches, all living in the same institution. And maybe that's why it feels so compelling. It's a public university, doing what public universities do at their most important, carrying memory, producing knowledge, and staying useful when real life gets messy. This episode was generated by Podkey. Create your own at podkey.fm.